Okay, good question. Do daycare centers who do preschool programs funded by the federal government have obligations to IDEA? All right, so there's a few of those. The federal government, through the Department of Education, does have preschool grants, but most of the what we're all familiar with would be Head Start programs, which actually come out of the Health and Human Services part of the federal government. Okay, but they're preschools, publicly funded, federally funded, and then some of these federal grant programs. But let me go ahead and I'm going to break it down like that. So yes, and how the IDEA works, it's broken up into four parts. But for the sake of what parents have to deal with, you deal with Part B or Part C. Okay. Now Part B deals with children age 3 to 21. Early intervention would be birth through age 2 until the child's third birthday. When the child goes from 2 to 3, 6 months before your child turns 3, there should be a transition meeting with your early intervention providers and your public school system. Okay? So whatever your public school system is, wherever you live, your zoned school is going to be the responsible government agency to identify your child and whether they need an IEP. Okay? So please understand that. So if your child's 3 to 5 years old in those preschool years, and I don't care where your child is going to preschool, it doesn't matter. You need to approach your public school system and let them know, hey, I think my child may have a qualifying disability and be in need of specialized instruction. Now that doesn't mean that wherever you are getting services from, that you have to sit there and rip your child out of their existing preschool. It just means that the school system where you live has a responsibility to evaluate your child to determine whether your child qualifies for an IEP. Okay? And it's at that point that if they do qualify for an IEP, that they need to make what's called a free and appropriate public education available to you. Now at that point, that's where you have some decisions to make. But let's go back. Let's assume that your child is in a Head Start. Then yes, I mean, not the Head Start, okay? It's going to be the public school. The public school is responsible for providing services for your child inside that Head Start. Now, let's say your child is in a state-run preschool program. Same rules apply. It doesn't matter. Let's say your child is going to a Mother's Day out. Doesn't matter. Your public school, for which you live, has the legal responsibilities to provide your child special education services if they meet the minimum eligibility requirements for an IEP. Okay, so your child can still be attending their private preschool and then have those services provided within that environment if your child is attending a preschool within your school district boundaries. There are instances to where if your child is in a preschool outside of your boundaries, there's still some mechanisms or considerations. They may still be entitled to some services, but by and large, it's within the boundaries of your zone school district. Okay? They have the legal responsibility. So a little bit broader answer, but that is the answer.